Hey everybody, JitteryJay here. Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Up next today, we're checking out Ginger Billy once again, and this time it's the anatomy of a nurse's brain. Now, we already did the anatomy of a married female's brain and the anatomy of the male brain, or brains, as it turned out. Um, now we're doing the nurse's brain, which is kind of interesting because my wife is a nurse, or she's a nurse's assistant or nurse's aide. She's studying to become a nurse as we speak. She's almost done with her clinicals. But anyway, this should be interesting. Before we get started, as always, we're going to hit Ginger Billy with a like and subscribe on the original video. This is not on Ginger Billy's channel. But we're going to hit the subscribe anyway. Not sure who that is. Anyway, we're going to like and subscribe on the original video. Ginger Billy's links will be in the description below, as well as a link to the original video, so you can do the same if you wish. That being said, let me click that on and make sure that's coming out right. And then let's get into this.
Hello, America. As we all know, nurses are a different breed of human being. And today I'm going to show you how their brain works with this presentation of a nurse's brain. Now, as you can see, down at the bottom of the brain here, we have the fake smile generator. Nurses are supposed to smile at all times. It don't matter how they really feeling. They can be mad, sad, hangry, whatever. They have got to have a smile on their face when they walk into a patient's room. And that is where the fake smile generator comes in. Let's say that a patient is cussing out a nurse. Well, on the inside, that nurse is mad, and they want to fight that patient. Well, that is when the fake smile generator sends a message to the facial muscles to contract.
That's one of the lessons my wife has to learn yet. She's got a temper on her. She's not afraid to let it loose sometimes. So if the fake smile generator doesn't always work. Anyway.
Message to the facial muscles to contract in an upward smiling fashion. So even though on the inside that nurse is really, really mad and they want to do bad things to that patient, on the outside it looks like the nurse is smiling and everything is A-okay. Thanks to the fake smile generator. This is the caffeine addiction center. This is the most important part of the nurse's brain, because you see, if the caffeine addiction center does not get the adequate amount of caffeine, the whole brain shuts down and the nurse is a lifeless slug. Now, as you can see here at the front of the nurse's brain is something called the BS detector. You see, patients have lied to nurses so much and fed them so much BS that the nurse's brain has developed a region to...
I've heard some stories. We'll leave it at that. I heard some really, really bad ones. Anyway, because she used to work in the ER. So, anyway, it's I can't vocalize any of the stories I've heard because of YouTube. But yeah, I've heard some horror stories, and then I've heard some funny stories of stuff that goes on in the ER. And I've been witness to a few things. I was in the ER a couple times. But yeah, that BS detector's got to be large. In charge. I'm looking at this diagram right behind him. It says buttocks barely used. Oops. I have to back that up a little bit.
Nurses so much and fed them so much BS that the nurse's brain has developed a region to detect the BS. Now up here we got the frequent flyer database. This is where all the information of the frequent flyers is held. Their names, their medical information, what they've been admitted for the last 15 times in the last 3 months. It's all held right there. Now here we have the vein locator. The vein locator is the reason why all nurses can locate a good vein on a person from 50 yards away. Now here we have the hospital.
Not all nurses. I had a bad one time. She stuck me 5 times trying to find a vein and couldn't get one. And finally, her boss came in and just went put this IV right in my vein with no problem. And oh man, I was so agitated. is that shit hurt. Especially when she was digging around trying to hit the vein. It just hurt, bruised me all up.
Yards away. Now here we have the hospital protocol storage center. This is where the brain stores all the protocols, because we all know that nurses can't properly take care of a patient without protocols. Now here we got the charting center. Now the charting center is not the biggest part of the nurse's brain, but it is the most used. The charting center operates about 8 to 9 hours out of the 12-hour shift. Now administration would love for the charting center to be about the size of the whole entire brain. This is the call light antenna. Anytime a patient hits a call light, it will bounce off of the call light antenna, and it will tell the nurse exactly what room the patient call light is coming from. Now, upon entering that room where the call light went off, 90% of the time the BS detector will go off. Here we got the patient compassion gland. The patient compassion gland is so large that there's very little room for the spouse compassion gland. Nurses use so much of their compassion on their patients during their shift, by the time they get home, the old compassion tank's on empty, and they ain't got no compassion left for their poor spouse. Here we have the super strength region of the brain. Okay. It does not matter what size a nurse is, they all have super strength. I have seen a 4'11" nurse throwing a 300-pound patient around on a bed like they are light as a feather.
Hey, my wife used to do that. She used to work in a nursing home as a STNA, and she used to have to transfer patients like that and get them moved so that she could redo their beds and everything. And she comes barely up to my shoulders, put it that way. But I'm 6'3", so that's not saying much. But she's on the shorter side, but she can lift some weight when she needs to. That's for damn sure. Especially where she was working, she didn't really get much help from people. I'm glad she doesn't work there anymore. Put it that way.
Around on a bed like they are light as a feather, and that is because of the super strength region of the brain. Now here we have the code brown gland. Yes, it looks like a pile of doo-doo. You see, when a nurse is walking down the hallway, the air goes through the nurse's nose and it filtrates through the code brown gland. And if there is any hint of poo particles in the air, the code brown gland will alert the nurse of the exact room where the code brown is. This is the bladder control center. We all know a nurse's bladder can hold the same amount of urine as a 5-gallon bucket. You see, when the nurse's bladder fills up, it sends a message to the bladder control center saying, hey, I need to be emptied. And then the bladder control center sends a message back to the bladder saying, nah, we still got like 3 assessments left to do. You're just going to have to hold it. And that is why all nurses can hold their urine like a camel can hold water. Last but not least, this is the patient family tolerator, or the PFT for short. You can see that it is very small, almost microscopical in fact. And this is the reason why nurses have such a hard time tolerating patients' family members. You see, the PFT's only got a 5-question limit. Once the patient's family member has asked 5 questions, the old PFT overloads, and it sends the nurse into convulsions. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my presentation of the nurse's brain. I hope you enjoyed it. God bless y'all. I love you.
Oh man, I love this dude. He is hilarious as ever. I'm not sure why this is on his channel. I got it from his channel, so it should have been. But anyway, which one's that? The male brain. I already did that. These were the only 3 that I found of these ones. So I'll get into more of his other catalog later. But this was hilarious. I thought it was a little informative. It's not meant to be taken serious, because he is a comedian. But a couple of them he's got almost spot on. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, I would love to hear what you guys thought about this in the comments. Let me know what else I gotta check out, and I will get there as soon as I possibly can. If you're still here and haven't done so yet, I'd be ever so grateful if you hit the like and subscribe buttons on the way out. And That goes a long way towards helping support the channel. That being said, that is just about going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this with me, and I hope to see you on the next one. I love you guys. Peace. Hey guys, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here at JitteryJay.